Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. Unfortunately, we're not going to have a weekly forecast because we're shut down at the university and we didn't want to bring you maps that were 3 days old. So thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to kind of give you an update of the current drought situation across the United States and look at some factors that may influence our weather as we move through these winter months. In fact, we have a La Nina that has developed, and although we haven't met the official criteria according to CPC, which is the Climate Prediction Center, by all indications, we are starting to see La Nina-like conditions develop across the globe, and we'll bring you an update on that. So the first thing we want to get to right away is the current drought monitor, and a couple of items that I want to draw your attention to. This persistent dryness area in the southeastern United States has really intensified over the last couple months, especially with the warm temperatures, and most of the storm activity displaced well to the north of this region. We've been having troughs recently come into the western United States, lifting out toward the northeast and the western Great Lakes, and bypassing most of this region as the ridge tends to be blocking the movement of these systems. Now, there are signs by the models that we are going to start to see a change, and perhaps as this change starts to materialize over this next 2-week period, we will start to work on at least the northern periphery of this dry area in terms of drought reduction. More importantly, we are seeing an expansion of the dryness in the western high plains. We now have D1 conditions, which is moderate drought conditions, developing into portions of southwest Nebraska and the southern panhandle, and that's the northern extent of a broad area that it basically encompasses all of eastern Colorado and western Kansas. This would be an area that would be most poised to see improvement if we can get these storm systems to lift out on a consistent basis. Now, as we look at the current global sea surface temperature anomalies, here's our La Nina conditions as we start to see an expansion of this area of cooler than normal conditions, and the Gulf of Alaska upper air low that's been pivoting energy into the Pacific Northwest. This main storm track has really churned up this water, which was a big blob of above normal temperatures, has now developed into a pretty significant blob of below normal temperatures. We do have some additional warming to the northwest of the Hawaiian Islands, and this will feed energy into this upper air low, so we would expect that we will continue to kick systems out into the western United States. The ultimate problem that we have in terms of our forecast is making a determination once they enter the western United States, are they going to skirt to the north of us like we've seen persistently here for a better part of this fall period, or are we going to start to carve a decent trough across much of the southern United States and lead to a storm track that would not only allow Arctic air into our region, but very significant accumulating snows as these lows dig into the southwest and then move up and be able to tap the Gulf of Mexico moisture. So the position of that ridge in the southeast will really determine the active weather going forward. Now, last week, Dr. Martha Shulsky talked about the Arctic Oscillation Index, and what we can see is that we are starting to attain negative values. Anytime that the Arctic oscillation starts to attain negative values means that the winds are relaxing around 55 degrees north latitude. The winds move from east to west in that direction instead of in our area west to east. So when they relax, that allows cold air to start sinking southward. So basically this indication is that more Arctic air is probably going to penetrate into our region, and the forecast continues this trend for the next 2 weeks.